Ready. Play.
I'm a little upset because we were denied a fifth set in Fritz, Mapechi Pericard, and I think that couldn't have been a worse decision. I mean, maybe they were required to continue that, but I can't believe they didn't play the fifth set, especially at the pace at which they were playing that match. It was going to be over in 28 minutes. Like, I picked Mapechi Pericard to win in my bracket. And so I should be rooting for him, but I actually feel quite badly for Taylor Fritz, who I think got completely screwed in that situation.
I was going to say Fritz gate, but I guess it's stop past 10 gate really is fairer.
I think Fritz gate is just fine. And for the American audience,
it's got a nice ring to it, but you need to have the controversy really, whereas Fritz is not the controversy here, right?
Right. Yeah, I mean, I think, you look at the average miles per hour for the first serve speed for Mapechi Pericard. In the first set, it was 141. His average first serve speed was 141 miles an hour, and it dipped to a mere mortal 133 and 132 from that point forward. And so, I think one of the things that we'll all be watching tomorrow, if he comes out serving 140 as the average speed, he's got a real shot to win. I mean, look, I think there was one break the whole match. Is that,
yes, I think you're right. Yeah.
So, in all likelihood, we're looking at a 10-point tiebreaker with the fresh Mapechi Pericard. And I don't want to say that I think of him as the slight favorite tomorrow, but knowing how upset Fritz looked at the decision to delay, which again, it's nobody's fault, just one of the rules. And seeing what Mapechi Pericard was able to do in that first set, I think I gotta pick him, John. I mean, what do you think? Is that crazy talk here to go with the unseeded player over the 5 seed?
No, but I can see why Fritz wanted to continue with the momentum shift, obviously 2-love down and then to 2-all. One thing I just want to get to though is, and we'll get to the match itself and how it panned out, and also who they might or might not be playing in the next round shortly. But just this decision, which was made, I think, at 10:15. And I'll tell you what I think Taylor kind of found frustrating is the decision was, they were asking them questions. But I think, the way I see it, is they should keep playing unless both agree to stop.
Yes.
The curfew is 11 o'clock. So if both say, look, it's fair enough, we don't want to play a fifth set tonight, we might not get it done. And then if we don't get it done, come back 2 games tomorrow. Both might be happy with that scenario. I think half the time they would be. So the guy here I can see on my screen, he's kind of asking them, but then Taylor does say, are you asking me? Or why are you even asking me if the decision's already made? Because Taylor would like to continue. I would suggest that basically if they can keep going, and both players want to keep going, and both players know that they could get to juice at 5-all or 8-all in the tie break or whatever scenario, as in 1 or 2 points more could be enough. That's what the players have agreed to at 10:15. Yeah. And they'll be thinking about that at various points in the match. They'll be thinking about that. I'm sure that Taylor was thinking at 4-all in the 4th set. Okay, what do I do if I get confronted with this question? Of course, if he wins the tiebreak, which he duly did, and there's a lot to unpack there as well.
Yeah.
I think they should keep going because they could finish it. The other half of it, of course, is that why do they start at 1:30?
I know. It's like, look, if you know that you might run up against
matches,
if you know you're going to run up against this problem, like this is a scheduling issue. Whoever's job it is to give the fans their money's worth, to take care of the players and make sure they're able to complete their match, they didn't do their job. And there's not, and I feel like I harp on this every single time I'm on. Somebody didn't do their job, and the fans and the players are worse off for it. How does this keep happening over and over and over and over and over and over in tennis? It's incredibly frustrating how incompetent the governing bodies are. And look, Wimbledon, it does many, many things, not just well, elitely, perfectly in some cases. And they just got it wrong here. Matthew D'Souza points out something that is very important to highlight. John, I always go off on these tangents, so forgive me. Sure. That the matches start at 1:30 because of the corporate hospitality. From Matthew. Yes. Their guests want to arrive at 11 a.m., walk around the outside courts, then come for lunch, and then enjoy center court and number 1 action. And Matthew, that's exactly right. And to the rich people that are doing that, just stop. It sucks.
And the other thing is in response to that is if they were on centre court at 1:30 p.m. watching the matches from start to finish, maybe I'd be okay with it. But they're not. They're not there. They're not there at all. Or they are there at 4:00 and they come on. I watched Fritz against Nadal in 2022, and some Evian people wandered in at about 4:00, sort of midway through the fourth set, as an unbelievable epic was unfolding, and then left again midway through the fifth set, and so they missed the dramatic end with the fifth set deciding set tiebreak. So I don't think it really matters whether we start the matches at 1:00, 3:00, or 5:00. That's still not going to be there. Right. Next topic, because the match itself, I think, was exciting. Yes. I think it was interesting because of the way I thought that Taylor Fritz was struggling to problem solve. The problem being GMP's serve, which, of course, is being highlighted in the chat. I think he may have hit 153 at one point, being a peak. He was basically just knocking them back where he possibly could, and then hoping to get in the rally, which would happen from time to time. But I thought actually GMP was hitting some nice backhand winners down the line. I think his forehand was okay. A couple of serve volleys in there as well. Certainly at 2-0, and probably even midway through the fourth set, really, it was still looking pretty good for him. And of course, it looked very good for GMP when he goes up 5-1 in the tiebreaker. Because we wouldn't be having this
set. Like Fritz had a moment where it wasn't quite a meltdown, but he expressed understandable frustration with one of those kind of moments that we've all had on a court. And not something you see out of Fritz a ton. You could tell he was frazzled. And look, I get it. He was 2 points away from going home in round one and proving one of my predictions correct for the first time ever.
Yeah. There was also a moment in the second set tiebreak when Fritz had a really good advantage as well. And he messed up a pretty easy forehand cross court that went long. And he had his own meltdown there. And Pechi Pericard took that second set. And it did look pretty good for him. As it is now, tomorrow, I'm still going to lean Fritz. I say still lean Fritz. I leaned towards him at the beginning of the match. You've leaned Pechi Pericard and you're still staying that way, right?
I am, because I just think a fresh Giovanni Mapecci Pericard, one set, knowing he can leave it all on the courts in that set. I think that his serve is just too big. And also, if it's late tournament and the courts are kind of scuffed up a little bit, maybe they've been slowed down, I think I would favor Fritz. If this was a day 7 match, I think I would favor Fritz. But in round 1, day 2, I think, and also knowing Fritz, like, he had the momentum. It was taken from him. And I use the word taken intentionally because it was. That is psychologically really difficult to get past. Pro athlete, rec player, anywhere in between. That is and you could see the frustration on his face. Watching him zip up his bag, it's like it was a little, it wasn't quite a tantrum, but it was tantrum adjacent. He was zipping with intent, expressing his frustration, in many, many different ways. Physically, verbally, all across the board. And so, I think I'm going to stick with GMP here.
All right. The winner of this match, as and when it does conclude, will play Diallo and Diallo's grass court season. When I didn't watch much of this match, but I watched a few games, and it looked like one player looks comfortable on grass and the other one didn't, and that player won. So Diallo awaits the winner of Fritz and Pechi Pericard. He'll hope that they continue to stretch themselves as much as possible. But as you said, the speed at which they were going, they probably will be fine for whenever this match with Diallo takes place, probably on Wednesday, one way or another. All right, let's go down. Let's go down.
Quick.
Go on.
How long is set number 5 going to be when they resume? What's your guess?
38 minutes.
38 minutes. And are you thinking it's going to a tiebreak, a 5th set tiebreak?
Yeah, actually. So that might because obviously 10 points there, that might stretch out. Yeah, I mean, GMP. Listen, I don't know if I could watch GMP day in, day out. No. I quite like watching him from time to time. And one of those times was today. I enjoyed it because it was like, it wasn't all just, there was a lot of aces, I think 30 plus at the last count. But it wasn't all just like that. There were some rallies in there. There was some problem solving that I still think Taylor really hadn't quite got to. I think he got away with a bit in that tiebreak at the end with a double fault, certainly from GMP, and a couple of other unforced errors, including a pretty horrible volley at the net.
Oh.
So, he got away with that in many respects. And I think he'll continue getting away with it tomorrow, whether it be 38 minutes, 48 minutes, or whatever. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe and click that notification bell so you don't miss out on all things tennis.